You're welcome. You're welcome. God, I love how polite hunters are. Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, what are your goals as a hunter? Most people would say to win, to be successful at the hunts. A lot of people would say to win quickly, despite most people not wanting to learn speedrunning or anything to quite that level. But then for a lot of people, it's just making sure that you succeed at the quest to begin with and to have fun while doing it, and maybe even make sure that other people have fun if you're playing with them too. Today we're going to talk about a build that won't get you the fastest hunt times in the world, but will get you the most consistent hunts and will make you absolutely beloved by anyone that you hunt with. The ultimate SOS flare joining huntathon build, or even just for playing with your friends, the classic full support sword and shield with hunting horn as well, thanks to the systems of Monster Hunter Wilds and the weapon switching. And before we get too deep into this, I will be showing you a version of the setup that is still 85 to 90% of the potential damage of a fully maxed out damage build, but with such an unbelievable amount of support potential that you can keep your fellow hunters from ever dying to anything that isn't a genuine one-shot death. And this also comes with speed eating and free meals, so it's very comfortable utility just for yourself too. But you can take this slightly further into being even more support heavy at the cost of your own damage, which I generally think is a bit too far, but I will show it anyways near the end, just because, hey, sometimes you want to just stick to a theme completely, and it's sort of fun too. That said, the main setup uses sword and shield along with hunting horn in your second weapon slot, using the hunting horn to actually apply attack and defense up large buffs, then swapping off to the sword and shield for the actual combat in between. We have full wide range, full speed eating, and full free meal, which means that we can consume consumables faster than anyone else, more times than anyone else, and the majority of consumables will also apply to allies in a zone-wide radius. We give our friends demon drugs, armor skins, demon powder, might pills because we can, and then we just apply heal after heal super easily whenever anybody gets hit by an attack. Because on sword and shield, you can just press the button to guard and the button to use items at the same time, and you will consume the item that is showing on your item bar without sheathing the weapon. With speed eating worked in too, a mega potion goes down in the blink of an eye, and so you can keep up a rapid onslaught of sword and shield attacks. Then as someone gets hit, you can choose to stop for a really quick beat to apply a full mega potion in just a moment and then get right back to attacking. The end result is you will do less damage personally yourself than you would do in a full meta damage build made for solo hunts, but in a proper 4-man group hunt, applying all of these attack buffs most people don't even do for themselves, same with defense buffs that can keep them alive easier, and then making it so 3 other players never have to stop to heal whenever they get hit, and also get these buffs constantly, while also providing still solid damage for yourself. And you can even do things like carrying nullberries and antidotes to deal with status-laden hunts as well, and you'll also give them all these buffs constantly, while also giving yourself these buffs constantly, and still providing very solid damage yourself. This definitely evens out a lot in most situations with the value you provide to your allies, with the main exception being if you end up with 2 people in support builds and then it's just awkward, or if you have people that just get hit by every single attack in the world and never actually do damage, of course, or if you're solo, because there's not really a point in supporting others if you're solo. All that said, I'm using sword and shield for this, and it's generally the best pairing, but you can use this with any weapon. Something like crit draw greatsword is a fun option, or you could just go full in on hunting horn, and if you do, there's a fun pair of hunting horns that you can use with the weapon swapping system to give a ton of buffs constantly. Specifically, you would run gore magala hunting horn as your secondary horn, only bring it out to play the songs, give the other players affinity, constant health recovery, and full earplugs as well, and then you would take out the arkveld hunting horn for attack up large, restore sharpness, and then extend all melodies to keep the songs from both of these horns active longer, which is a massive offense boost to your allies. And then you could use resounding melody for just a solid fun damage melody too, though if you do that, you would want to swap the maximum might in our build over to counterstrike and build a bit more raw attack focused. For the main proper build, however, sword and shield is going to be the play, and I would say generally you can use any sword and shield you want with this, anything that you please if you feel like using certain statuses or certain elements specifically, but maximum efficiency will always be an Artian weapon, and my specific recommended one if you're only going to have one, especially for this as a support, is paralysis. Paralysis is great in general as a status in wilds, but it also perfectly fits a support build where you can create a proper damage opening for your allies and then give them a might pill to boost their damage during it too, or even just hit the monster yourself, of course. For an Artian sword and shield, you want to use 3 attack parts while making it so you can get the most attack possible out of it, and then your ideal set of reinforcements is 4 attack boosts and 1 sharpness if you're able to get lucky. Here I've gotten 2 affinity boosts instead, and that's okay, but we can overcap on affinity when you have this in certain situations, so it is better to just get full attack if you can. The secondary weapon weapon for the main actual setup then is the Guardian Arkveld hunting horn, because this singular hunting horn has both attack up and defense up large, with a nicely strung together combo of notes that you can pull off quite easily. And so at the start of a hunt, you can cue these up while riding on your seikret towards the monster, apply all of your buffs and your songs as you arrive to the group, swap to your sword and shield, and then get to the actual damage. As for the armor pieces used in the main set then, we've got Blangonga Beta Helmet, mostly as this covers the majority of our wide range needs in one piece, as well as giving us a 2-slot socket for maximum might to help bump up our affinity. We've also got Raidou Alpha Chest. This gives us 2 maximum might, 1 stamina surge as a bonus, and then 2 1-slot sockets as well, which are really good for this build. We've got Guardian Arkveld Beta Gauntlets for 2 weakness exploit and a load of 1-slot sockets that this build again really needs to have, and then the Gore Alpha waist and beta legs, which nicely fits our remaining decoration slots while getting us the Gore 2-set armor bonus and antivirus for a combined 25% affinity after we clear the frenzy, and also the set bonus itself will give us frenzy when we see the large monster to actually trigger this. Then for the Talisman, we use the weakness exploit Talisman, and you can go full offense on Mantle and use the corrupted Mantle if you want, or for a more supporty choice you can go rock steady like so, and this will just let you actually be able to apply heals to your allies while you're being actively attacked by the monster. So if a monster's hitting you, you can save someone from dying from an attack that would hit you and interrupt you instead. As for decorations on the weapon, we're going for standard offensive gains, full offensive guard, as guarding is used for items as well, and so we can definitely manage the uptime on this for a sizable damage increase. Then for the combo bonus skill rank, I've gone with Iron Wall here for some extra guard. You could go with Handicraft for sharpness management instead if you need that as another option. Then in the other 2 slots, we've got Critical Boost 3 and Critical Boost 2, just to get full 5 ranks of crit boost and the damage increase that gives when we are in a heavily crit focused setup like we are to begin with. This will give us a lot of extra damage. And the Hunting Horn then, I've got Handicraft 3 to get the weapon to white sharpness, and then just 4 crit boost for if you hit the monster with the weapon while playing our 2 melodies in the first place, which you should if you can because that is damage. Then for our armor decorations, we have 1 Mighty Jewel to fix our maximum might up to level 3 for 30% bonus affinity while we're at maximum stamina. Then we have 3 Friendship Jewels to bring us to 5 wide range to spread our consumables around. We then have 3 Gobbler Jewels as well to get us to 3 Speed Eating, and then 3 Satiated Jewels to get us full free meal. If you are missing any of these 1-slot decorations here, they can be crafted at the melder relatively easily. We then also have a Chain Jewel just for 1 rank of burst, as the first rank of burst is actually quite valuable in itself, and we can have it active quite well as sword and shield, and then 1 Tenderizer Jewel as well for 1 rank of weakness exploit to finish that off and help with our crit chance. And then finally, the Sane Jewel for final rank of antivirus and that little bit of extra affinity. That said, our fullest of skills then is 5 crit boost, 3 offensive guard, whatever combo decoration skill that you have a rank of, and then 5 weakness exploit for affinity when hitting weak points, and even more affinity when hitting wounds. 5 wide range to spread consumable buffs to allies, 3 maximum might for more affinity at maximum stamina, 3 antivirus bonus affinity when clearing the frenzy and easier frenzy clearing in general, 3 speed eating to consume consumables quicker, 3 free meal for a 45% chance not to consume a consumable on use, and then 2 constitution as a bonus, 1 burst for some extra damage that applies to most of our attacks, and then 1 stamina surge and 1 flinch free as a bonus as well, with Gore Magala 2-set bonus to finish it off. That said, just for the sake of showing the difference compared to a more meta setup, let's do the actual math for this too. A perfectly rolled Artian Sword and Shield is 225 attack, 5% affinity, with a good chunk of white sharpness. Offensive Guard applies its 15% bonus damage based on the weapon attack itself, so we apply it before our other skills to put us up to 258.75 attack. We will assume full uptime on the plus 5 attack for the first hit bonus of 1 rank of burst, but we won't count the full 5 hit bonus from burst because sometimes we'll be stopping to heal, so you won't always have it active, at least on harder hunts, so 263.75. For our affinity, we have 5% base on any Artian weapon, then 25% from antivirus combined with the base gain from cleansing frenzy, which puts us at 30%. Weakness exploit is 30% affinity for weak spots, which we will count, but 20% bonus on wounds, which we won't count, so 60% affinity. We then add in another 30% for maximum might, which takes us to 90% affinity, which is where you'll sit most of the time. We do go over 90% sometimes, like when we are hitting wounds, or if you do use corrupted mantle or stuff like that, but most of the time you'll be at 90%, so we're counting it as 90%. With full critical boost ranks, a critical hit is a 40% increase to your damage, so a 1.4 times multiplier. On average, we will crit 90% of the time, which means the average overall damage increase from crits across a hunt is 36%, or a 1.36 times multiplier. This puts us up to 358.7, factor in the white sharpness modifier, which is 1.32 times, for a final final effective raw of 473.5. For a comparison, my full damage focused generic meta sword and shield set was 518.4 effective raw, and that means going by pure damage using this support setup is less than a 9% damage reduction in exchange for a ridiculous amount of support ability. Consider that you'll probably be attacking a bit less often because you are drinking potions when other players get hit, not just you, and that's where I get my 10 to 15% weaker overall estimate, not just 9%. But realistically, aside from the extra investment of now essentially crafting consumables for the whole group instead of just yourself, this provides such incredible benefit to a hunting party that it is much more than worth the damage drop in an average hunt as far as I'm concerned when playing with a 4-player group. Playing with a bunch of people who never get hit and always bring their own demon drugs and such, then yeah, maybe you don't need this build, maybe it doesn't help. But hopping into hunts with random people you don't know, or with friends and you just want to make it easier for them, nothing brings me more confidence in a hunt than being the group heal bot while also putting out damage of my own, especially walking into like 5 purple star gore magala tempered quests, and normally people will be dying left and right and I can see their health bars going down, and then thanks for the help because I drank a mega potion. Just for the sake of showing it quickly here as well, here's the full commit full send version of this 4-set Blangonga armor, which gives you a set bonus that lets you give allies a small attack buff when you use the 2 victory emote, and after testing this effect, this is a whopping 6 bonus attack for your allies for all actual player hunters. It's really minor, it's great for support hunters and palicos, but not very much for other players. So I generally don't recommend using this setup over like the main one, but if you want to be a support to the point of literally hitting an emote every 20 seconds to boost other people's damage, this is how you would push it that extra little notch at the cost of a lot of your own personal damage. This is much worse than the other build. As for the playstyle when using these builds then, it is essentially just a standard sword and shield build setup for your damage, guard attacks, perfect guard whenever you can, and use counter slash as it's a lot of damage, use your chop combo to move around and lateral slash combo otherwise, and then when the monster is downed, use perfect rush to capitalize. Aside from that, just play support to whatever degree you feel makes sense for you. If you want to heal people anytime they get hit, if you think that's fun, do that. Or if you want to only stop when people get really low health because you only want to help them if you think they really need it, it's totally up to you, however you want to play it. But a special note that I should make here for Wild especially is that in past games, using might pills removed the might seed buff. So people avoided using might seed if they were planning on using might pills as they are a stronger buff, so you don't want to lose that. But in Wild, it just overwrites the other buffs after the duration ends instead of completely removing it. So you can use might seeds for a 3-minute buff for the party and use might pills whenever a big opening happens without deleting your might seed buff. Just for the sake of it, might seed is 10 attack, demon powder is 10 attack, mega demon drug is 7 attack, and that's already 27 attack, and that's already like a 10% attack increase for most players that you'll come across if they aren't using them, and that's not even including the horn buff, so the time periods where you use might pill and gain an extra bump for 20 seconds too, which is gonna turn it up to like a 15% increase for most players. That just about does it then for today, everyone. A full breakdown to our wide range free meal speed eating support sword and shield that I honestly am really surprised is capable of still reaching the damage it does in Wilds for how much raw utility and comfiness we can fit inside of there. I mean, even aside from the wide range, full free meal and full speed eating is just comfy hunt skills. So I absolutely love this setup personally. I hope you've all enjoyed this end, and let me know any of your own thoughts on this build down in the comments below. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.